days has been Bharat Financial, partly because of fears of some investigation by the Maharashtra government. Ashish Damani, the CFO of Bharat Financial Inclusion, has just joined us on the phone line. Ashish, good morning. Did you hear from the Maharashtra Home Ministry, from the special investigation team that they have appointed?
Good morning, Lata. Thanks for having me. We've not got any information as such, but if this SIT is being formed for, looking into the guidelines being followed or not followed on the ground by various microfinance entities or industry as such, then I think it's a welcome move from our side, at least because we've been following all the guidelines from the Reserve Bank, and we're confident whether you look at interest rate, whether you look at the credit bureau check, the 2 MFI norm. In fact, I would go on to say we are being very conservative, and some of our peers are taking MFI as MFI when they look at 2 lenders. We look at 2 lenders, and even if a bank or anybody else would have lent, we are not lending to such customers. So we will welcome something like this.
So what is the exact exposure that you have in the Maharashtra region, and especially in Vidarbha, where the high amount of allegations have come from?
So we operate in 27 districts in Maharashtra, and if you look at 24 of the districts are reporting more than 95% repayment rate. So it's a very healthy repayment rate. Out of the other 3, one is in 90 to 95, one is in 80 to 90%, and 75 to 80% is one district, which is, I think, Vidarbha, Amravati region primarily, where we are reporting lower. But given our experience, as things stabilize, we should also come back.
Where do you see these allegations come from? I mean, there are allegations that a lot of MFIs in Vidarbha are resorting to coercive recovery, harassment of women, etc. If you are seeing 95% repayment in 24 districts, where do you see these allegations come from?
I'm not very sure on this, Sonia, but the way we look at it is we've been following whatever the guidelines that have been laid out. Our center meetings are very transparent. They are conducted in a place which is a central place, and anybody can visit and watch the center meeting. We don't do any doorstep collections, and it's a joint liability concept. So all the borrowers come at a particular place for the meeting where anybody can visit these things. So our loan officers don't go to the our loan officers don't visit the home or the workplace of the borrower.
Okay.
They go to a village, in a village, let's say a school or a panchayat office where they conduct these meetings.
How much should your repayment rate be or collection rate be for business to go on?
See, our repayments presently are at a cumulative basis are at 91.2%, and these have actually improved from 89% to 91.2%, and we are confident that as the situation improves on the currency, this will be back to the normal level.
Do you see any loan growth, Ashish? What would be the AUM or loans lent in this quarter, third quarter, vis-a-vis year ago third quarter, or even the second quarter?
So it's a bit of a constraint as of now, with currency not being available to draw, and given we've been disbursing in cash, so we are able to disburse out of the repayments. And if you look at from a principal standpoint, we've been disbursing 75% of whatever the principal has been collected. So loan growth in this particular quarter will be muted, but what we are looking at is going cashless disbursement. So as and when currency is freely available, we will start disbursing in the accounts of the customers as well.
How much have disbursements fallen up until now, since over the last 2 months?
So total disbursement of 970 crores is what we have done post the 8th of November.
Are you all cutting interest rates? Have you cut in December, November? will you cut like next week, next month?
So interest rates should be looked at with the margin
Yes.
cap that has
Yeah,
been
your
levied
margin
with
as well.
by. Yeah. So we are already operating at much lower margin than the mandated 10%. So we are at 8.5%. So there is no requirement to look at the drop in interest rates as of now.
How do the rules stack up, Ashish? You all are regulated by Reserve Bank. What is the locus standi of the SIT? You still have to reply to them. RBI didn't ask you all any questions?
So the way I understand and the way I read it is, the SIT will be framed to look into the guidelines being adhered to or not to by the industry, and whatever the report will be given to the regulator for further action.
So you said that you've disbursed 970 crores up until now, between November 8th and now. How much has that fallen or compared to your normal run rate? I mean, is it down 50%, 40%?
So the way to look at it is we were looking at 50% growth for the full financial year, and there are in different months you will have different kind of disbursement rate that one could have achieved. If we are saying from what we need to disburse, that should be linked with the demand, and I would say that demand has not gone away because the customers still need the loans, and it should be met as and when the currency situation eases out. So we will make it up in the coming months.
So, okay, just one final question. What is the exposure that you have in the UP market now? And over there as well, we hear that, there are some politicians motivating borrowers not to repay, etc. So some concerns there. Any thoughts?
Sure. So RBI has come out with a guideline of, dispensation in a way for 60 days during this period when the cash currency is an issue. And this has been misinterpreted by some of the people on the ground. And what we are doing is we are just going back and explaining the borrowers this is more to do with the institution and not actually a loan waiver or a payment holiday. The total exposure is 8%, 8.8% in Uttar Pradesh. But if you look at 36 out of 49 districts are reporting more than 90% repayment.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Ashish Damani, pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for clarifying on a range of issues that are worrying investors. Saurabh.